Hello friends, welcome to today's daily devotion. We're reading again from the Gospel of Matthew, the 9th chapter. This time I'm reading verses 20 through 22. And if you watched yesterday's video, you'll realize that these are precisely the verses that I skipped over in yesterday's reading. But when I did yesterday's reading, it sure seemed like it all just fit together seamlessly. Well, today we're talking about that gap. Hear now these words. Just then, a woman who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years came up behind Jesus and touched the edge of his cloak. She said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be healed." Jesus turned and saw her. "Take heart, daughter," he said. "Your faith has healed you." And the woman was healed at that moment. So this is happening on the way to another miracle. Yesterday we talked about the synagogue ruler's daughter and how Jesus restored her, that she had been dead, she had been in a coma, whatever she was in, Jesus brought her back. But on his way to go see this young girl, he is also interrupted by the needs of this old woman. For 12 years she has been dealing with bleeding. Now, the context of this makes it not like bleeding on the arm or on the leg or the head or the torso. This is feminine bleeding, meaning this is a menstrual bleed. This is something that's been coming out of her genital area. And as a result, she is not only unclean because of the blood flow, but it's a very shameful thing coming from that part of one's body. And so this woman for 12 years has been dealing with a condition where she never, ever stops her menstrual bleeding. And she thinks to herself, if only I can touch Jesus's cloak, that'll be sufficient. That's all I need to do is just reach out and get just a little hem of his garment, and that'll be all that's necessary. Do you realize what kind of faith that is, that she thinks that just touching the hem of Jesus' cloak will be sufficient? I mean, we think about all the different ways in which we try to live out our faith and people think we're crazy. Well, this is absolutely ridiculous, except that it happened, that it worked. Jesus healed this woman. Now, in Luke's version of this story, Jesus turns around and says, "Who touched me?" Because there's this crowd of people that are all around him, and the disciples are saying, "Lord, everybody is touching you." But Jesus knew that this particular woman's touch was different, and he called her out, he identified her. And I think that is much a part of the restoration as stopping the blood flow. He wanted to let her know, I see you. I love you. You are a beautiful daughter. And I think that was as much of a healing for this woman's soul, a restoration to life for her, as stopping the bleeding from happening at all. And so Jesus doesn't just restore us on a physical level. Jesus also heals and restores us from our soul, our psyche, our spirit, our emotional health. Jesus is an all-encompassing restorer. So again, I say, if you've got a hurt, a physical, an emotional, a spiritual, a mental, take it to Jesus and allow him to begin the restoration in you. And I'll see you tomorrow for another daily devotion.